All right, let's move on to the later game. Detroit Lions at San Francisco 49ers. America's team, America's true team, the Detroit Lions, coming in as underdogs, plus 6.5 at the open. Most books have it now at 7, with Niners being the favorite. Over under opened up at 51.5 and is down to 50.5. So in both games, the money's coming in on the defense. This is one where I've got to silence my heart. I've got to tone down that inner 12-year-old going, let's go Lions, come on Detroit. I just don't, betting on America's darling is always a bad feeling from a bettor's perspective, in my opinion, especially coming off of a week where the Niners looked a little suspect. I think people will hang their hat on that. We'll see. There's a lot of variables coming into play here. The weather's going to be better, so you won't have Brock Purdy wiping his hand mid-drop back. But Deebo Samuel's questionable, and that offense is completely different without Deebo Samuel in there. So there's a lot to still be figured out as this week continues for this Detroit at San Fran game. But I would love to hear what you have to say before I give you my picks.
This hangs on Deebo for me.
Yeah.
I won't make my pick now. Deebo plays. I like San Francisco for the same reason you do, which is like the darling sweetheart pick is Detroit, and Detroit won a good one last week, and San Francisco didn't look so good. And, but if Deebo plays, I'll take San Francisco to unfortunately win that one going away. If Deebo
go ahead.
If Deebo does not play and you're still going to give me a touchdown, maybe Detroit getting 7.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say the books right now, I saw Deebo still had some props available despite him being questionable. So I got to imagine that the spread is based on him being in as of now. And I think if he were to change from questionable to out, you would see that line change. So if you think, get a little inside hit and you think that Deebo is going to be out this game, now's the time to jump on the Lions, because if he's listed out later on this weekend, I think you see it at least a point, if not 2, swing back into the Lions' favor. We were just talking about how it was okay for fans to celebrate. I think Dan Campbell does have this team focused and ready to go. There's a lot of pressure, though, and it's tough to not feel that mount every weekend. My heart right now is Detroit.
Because, I feel like Dan Campbell and the Lions in general are as playing with house money as you're going to get. I'm telling you right now, that team could lose 68-0, and they're getting a parade in Detroit.
Well, I think so. I think that's part of the problem, because the mission isn't done yet, right? Mission not accomplished. And it takes so much to get back to this spot, right? You and I are softball buds, and I lost in the championship this year. And I know it's just softball, but I got to tell you, knowing what it takes to get there, and then the idea that you have to travel that long road again just to have the opportunity to play for that trophy is a daunting feeling. And I think they've got to feel that a little bit for the city. It's been so long now. They got them that first playoff win since our first playoff appearance, right? Since 92, and first playoff win since the 50s or something like that. That's amazing. And kudos, tip of the hat, right? But mission's not done. And I do think that it works both ways. I think they'll have that motivation and the fire for the city to come out ready to go. But I'm sure that there's a couple guys in that locker room who are feeling a little bit of added pressure this weekend to try and get that Super Bowl appearance, especially now that it's clear that they are the darling that everyone wants to win, unless you're a fan of one of the other 3 teams.
I'm everyone's Dan Campbell fan, right? Dan Campbell's freaking
bite the kneecaps, baby. Let's go. I want to play for that guy.
So I would love to find a prop that says something to the effect of, if going into the last 3.5 minutes of either the half or the game, there is an important coaching decision to be made. Kyle Shanahan will fuck that decision up. If they're
bet for a clock mismanagement.
If they're up 60, then there's no such thing. But like clock winding down half or end of the game, if there is a clock management fuck up to be fucked, Kyle Shanahan will do it. Kyle Shanahan is the most overrated coach in the NFL. And if it comes down to coaching, which you never know if it will, I like the Lions because I think.
All right, so in the head-to-head bet, you'll say that Detroit will have a better coached game than our Niners.
I do.
All right, fair. If we should get that prop going, I like that. That over under 50.5. Take the under. I feel
high
like
for a playoff game.
High for a playoff game. I think both teams are going to look to control the ball and limit big plays. With that said,
you have two backs here in Jahmyr Gibbs and Christian McCaffrey who can catch the ball 5 yards behind behind the line of scrimmage and take it to the house, right? Like,
yeah, and then you got Montgomery ground and pound.
Ball control can turn into 50-yard touchdown runs with these guys. And again, Debo, like just
a lot hangs on Debo.
So many weapons, but
again, if you like the under now, I would take the under now because if Debo is ruled out, I can see that number going down into the high 40s.
Yep.
I kind of want to, with this whole Debo Samuel thing really has like the props messed up. The weather in Santa Clara is going to be much better this weekend. So I like Brock Purdy to have a little bit of a bounce back. People talking a lot of trash, me included, this week after his sketchy performance in the rain last week. I do like him to have a little bit of a bounce back. Will he be I don't know that he's not the guy. I don't think they're going to win because of him, but if he can minimize mistakes and get the ball to his playmakers, I like for him to have a good stat line. But I'm staying away from his props until I know what Debo's up to. The only Niner that I feel confident in is, like we said earlier, it's a tight end weekend, man. We've got some premier names, and George Kittle is that monster. He loves football. I mean, he is a football guy. I like him to get in the end zone at plus 105 to your point earlier about Kelsey. I think that they'll go to their guys. I think Kittle is an absolute beast and will find the red zone. He's consistent. He's sure-handed. Why wouldn't they get him the ball? And then every week I've talked about him so far. Jahmyr Gibbs, dude, this guy is an absolute tank. And getting plus money, plus 120 to him to find pay dirt as well. It seems like you can't deny him. It doesn't matter if it's a handoff at the 35-yard line or within the 5-yard line. He's going to get that ball across the line and put 6 on the board for you. So give me Gibbs touchdown, Kittle touchdown, both plus money props. And then Laporta, injured Laporta. He's got the brace on the knee. Looked good last week, though. Has looked all right since coming back. Just kind of says that he puts it in the back of his mind or puts it out of his mind when he's running the routes. And it's worked out for him. You think he's a little bit back to normal? Can we trust him to get his receptions or his yards?